Howdy everybody, it's Amy from Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully your weekend has gone well. This is Sunday, June 9th, I think it is. So I welcome any new subscribers out there. I keep seeing the numbers going up, which is really cool. So hopefully you're finding some content on my channel that is useful to you, because I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I'm doing this for fun and I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully you find something in here that is interesting. And for all of you that have been here for a while, thank you for your support, and I appreciate all the comments, likes, subscribers, all that good stuff for YouTube. But I wanted to first start out with a quick reminder that I am doing a giveaway for the Art Dot trays. I think I have some within reach here. So I have a video of an unboxing for those, and the entries for the giveaway will close at midnight on July 13th. So you have all the way through July 12th. Not July, sorry about that. I'm a month ahead already, June 12th. So a few more days. So if you'd like, go watch a video, see what you think. And if you want to enter, you can either email me or leave a comment with the keyword on my video, and you will be entered into the giveaway. So that, again, will close on June 12th, the night of June 12th at midnight. So that makes it turning into the early morning hours of June 13th, that's Central Standard Time. So come join in. And I did notice this weekend, actually I saw it as early as Thursday, it may still be going on, that Art Dot was having a sale on all of their stuff, including the trays. So they had a decent sale going on right now. I think they're $8.99 on Amazon and probably on their store as well. And I have a discount code, Amy10, that you can use to get even more money off. So if you wanted to try them out, now would be a good time to do so. So what am I doing here? Well, this is going to be an attempt at a proof of concept. I had mentioned in my last Temu unboxing the idea of doing a diamond painting related butterfly themed junk journal. And I had a few people kind of curious about what in the world is a junk journal? What does this have to do with diamond painting? So I thought maybe I'd create a second channel, a crafting channel, where I could do some crochet, cross stitch, journaling, other stuff that I like to do, and share it with you as well, because there aren't too many crafty people in my house. We have a household of 4 adults, but I'm the only one that's into crafty things like this, and so I don't get to share much. So I've enjoyed doing this channel because I'm finding that with the comments and all the subscribers out there, I'm talking to people that are like-minded and understand what I'm talking about. I can show off stuff to my hubby and he's like, oh, it's nice. And that's not quite the same as sharing with other people that have a passion for the crafts that you do. So anyway, I thought about doing a second channel, but I'm just not sure at this point that I really want to try to run and keep up with 2 channels. But I really wanted to share this idea of how to use some of your smaller diamond paintings. So I thought I'd give this a try. So we're going to try proof of concept here with a very basic intro junk journaling with diamond painting idea here. See how the views go, see what you think. And I may continue my big project, may continue sharing it with you if you're interested. I'll try to put it in a separate playlist. But if it's not something you're interested in, feel free to scroll along. It won't hurt my feelings, because I'm going to do this project anyway, and I'd just like to share it with you. So what do we have going on here? So I thought about all these small diamond paintings that I've been doing, the magnets, the keychains, and I've heard mention about all the trash that diamond painting gathers, from baggies to leftover drills, lots of washi tape. We get all these different supplies, stickers, cover paper, leftover drills. Anyway, you get the idea. Lots of stuff there. So what do we do with all of it? So here's my thought. because I do like junk journals. But I'm going to move this out of the way here for a second. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I wanted to show you what a junk journal is for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with that concept. So this is my first truly homemade junk journal here. And this was made with a pre-existing little lined paper notebook. I put paper over the cover. I put this little tie to close it because, as you can see, it's very full. And it didn't really have a particular subject matter. I was just testing out the concept of different junk journal ideas. So each page kind of has a different theme and different things in there. So basically a junk journal is a way to recycle some of your old goodies and turn them into something useful. And you say, well, what does this have to do with journaling? There's no writing in there. Well, what it does is it gives you secret spaces to write things. So you see lots of cards and envelopes in here, and you'll find lined paper and other things hidden in different spaces in a junk journal that allow you to write secretly. But as far as using it for diamond painting, imagine a diamond painting logbook where you're keeping track of your various things, or gifts to friends and family that are using up some of the things that we collect as diamond painters. So this is, I can do a quick flip through. This one's a little different because I do have real antique items in here, because that's half the fun for me, is the scavenger hunt of trying to find things for junk journals. So this is a real envelope here with stamps, because I am also a stamp collector. But a lot of this is also handmade. These are printed. You can go on Etsy and find all sorts of junk journal files for just a couple dollars if you have the ways to print stuff out. And you can also go to your hobby store and find different supplies. This is a little envelope that I made with some cards and goodies in there. But the idea is that there's all sorts of hidden things in here, and it's also a place to collect different things. So every page here will have various things to turn and open. You've got lace and texture, and this was just lined paper when I started. We have an antique store that sells old photos, and to me it's always sad that they lost their home and their family, so I try to get these. I can get a package of them pretty cheap. You can buy them usually less than 10 cents a piece. And old postcards and other things like that. Here's an old playing card. That is a real vintage playing card. And that's another envelope with more hidden writing space in there. Let's see what else I can show you. That's a tiny envelope. But I also like to get old paper money that you can buy on eBay and other places. And Etsy also sells, here's a real ticket here. Etsy also sells ephemera packs for people that do junk journaling. If you don't have a collection, you can buy a packet of goodies. I like to go to thrift stores and look around. Here's a little flower I crocheted. This, I aged it a little bit too much for my liking, but you don't want to get caught up too much on this. But here's another envelope with more goodies inside. But the idea is that you have all these secret places to store different things to write on. So that's a quick flip through of a basic junk journal there. And I also have a tiny one here that I made to go inside another one, but it was just too big and bulky. This is actually, the cover of this was made with just brown paper bag. So that's half the fun, is turning old trash into something unique and different. So here's another example. This is just kind of random stuff in this one. And then here's one, I was doing these at Christmas. You can take Christmas cards and very quickly turn them into a little junk journal with a Christmas theme, with the envelope in the middle. So there's a quick look. This is called a belly band. I love those. And I used a lot of like already pre-made tags for these, which you can find all over the place at Christmas time. So you don't have to make your own tags. But that's the concept. So what does this have to do with diamond painting? Well, you can create one of these. You can do like a smaller version like this with a card every month to be your monthly journal and logbook for your diamond painting, if you'd like. Or you can make a big one. I'm going to be using a lot of my Paint Gem minis and other minis. The example here I was going to show was a plant themed. So first off is the scavenger hunt, and that's what I will show you here. This is all diamond painting related goodies that I found to put in a diamond painting junk journal. This is a mini that I did, a cross-stitch conversion chart of Big Bend that I didn't know what to do with. That might end up in there. Some of this stuff may not. Here's a bookmark that I did. This would be really good to put on the edge of a page. There's a regular bookmark. That's kind of thick, so I'm not sure that one will end up in there. Here's the rest of that Make Market minis set of plants. I picked one out for the cover. How about cover papers? You guys got really pretty release papers. These came from Bee's Crafty Corner. I'm probably going to sacrifice a couple of them for this. A place to keep all the business cards from all the businesses that you shop from. They all send usually a business card and even some stickers. This is a good way to use up all of that stuff and store it. We all get these stickers. This is Dreamer Designs. All of their sticker paper comes with these little stickers on them. Anybody buy putty? That's actually a really neat little envelope there. And of course the plastic baggies. I have some rhinestones from a kit that I actually just finished this morning. And we all have probably these kind of stickers. This is Diamond Art Club, where they give you a nice large sticker for your journal. So those give you some pretty good sticker stuff you can add. How about a coaster? Now this one, if I put it in, I will probably peel off the protective backing, or I might find another one actually that doesn't have that to make it just a little bit thinner, because the book has to somewhat be able to close. This is a little wooden heart. I think it was supposed to be a magnet or a coaster, but it's just plain. Let's see what else I have in here. More sparklies. A mini jar of my extras. Let's see, magnets here. These are nice and thin, so I have a couple of those. And I did throw this in here. This is a blank canvas. I get these on Amazon, and you can do your own designs on them, cross-stitch conversions or whatever. Not sure if I'll use that, but it's in there. How about washi tape? How much washi tape do you guys have? Washi tape is also really big in junk journaling, so that'll be very useful. How about bags for your toolkits? That's a nice soft bag. That's good for storing stuff. And of course, how many of these do we throw away? They can actually be useful for this. I have, a diamond painted sticker here that I will use. I plan on saving the rest of those for my bigger project, but I can use a few. Here's another magnet. Cover minders. Yes, cover minders can work on paper as well. So cover minders would be great for a junk journal. And I thought these were so sparkly. These were a bunch of AB leftovers from a project. And then I have another mini I may or may not use because that's kind of big. So those are the diamond painting goodies that I found for this little project. Not all of them will be used, but just look around and it's amazing how you can look at things a little bit differently. Oh, I forgot one other thing here. So I'm piling up lots of these special drill canvases, but this one has lots of little elements here, so I think I can cut this one up actually and use parts of it in a junk journal as well. So for me, half the fun with these is the scavenger hunt, trying to find things that might be useful in something like this. So look around. You probably don't need to buy anything. You probably have everything you need to do one of these. So now let's talk about paper next, because that's the next thing is you need to make your little book. So you need paper and envelopes, and that's again another scavenger hunt. To sew the book together, you can use embroidery thread. Wax thread is usually used for the bigger ones, but this is just a little sample, so embroidery thread works just fine. This is the picture I picked out for the cover. Now this cover paper, I already folded everything to save a little time. This cover is just a 12 by 12 piece of paper that I found at the local craft store, and I picked it because it's a little bit thicker. But anything maybe as thick as cardstock would work for a cover. And this is going to be a small one, so it's not going to be like a big thick book. It's just going to be more like that greeting card one. So that's why I'm thinking, you know, doing one of these for each month to keep your diamond painting log or your journal for the month. They don't have to be big, they can be small, so just a folded up piece of cardstock in whatever design you like would work. Now I've got 4 sheets of just plain old typing paper here that I've already folded and prepared. So what I did here with these, a couple of them I folded upward and then folded in half, because that's an instant pocket on each of those 2 pages. And then the other thing you can do is fold one side inward, and then when we go to assemble we can glue that, and then you have a side pocket. So I have 2 folded each way, so just 4 regular sheets of typing paper. When I make my real junk journals, I coffee dye my paper first. I heat some water, put twice as much, maybe 3 times as much instant coffee as you would normally drink to make the water nice and dark, and then put the paper in like I'm trying to think of the words, like a 9 by 12 cookie sheet or something like that, and pour the water over it, let it sit for a few minutes, and then let it dry. This is just basic parchment paper. You can find it in the calligraphy section of craft stores, but it gives that neat added texture without having to spend much money. This is just a plain piece of dark green paper. Since my theme is plants that I picked, dark green makes sense. This is a double-sided sheet of scrapbook paper here that I will be cutting down. And your scrapbook paper usually isn't double-sided. It's kind of hard to find double-sided stuff these days, but that's okay. I have an example here that's not, because you can decorate the other half, and don't worry about the writing on the inside because you can cover that up in various ways. So I have 2 different sheets here of printed stuff. Vellum paper, I love vellum paper. You can buy just packets of plain vellum, or you can buy it printed, or you can print it on your own computer. Doilies, this one I coffee stained, but you can find them usually in the baking section. I find mine even at Walmart, but it gives just a little bit texture and different size to the sheet. And then this, I bought like a box of 1,000 of these on Amazon. This is like paper that you use to wrap up sandwiches or whatever. It's got a really neat thin texture to it, not quite see-through. But for me, I like more vintage junk journals typically, but I go for texture and different pages. So this is what I've put together here. So I was originally thinking 8 pages. So I have 4 plain, and then 4 not plain here. And then these, I really wasn't counting them, more for texture. So see if you can find 8 different sheets of paper of various types, colors, shapes, all that. They don't have to all match. And that will be the insides for your journal. Now the last thing that I will talk about is the supplies. So this is my paper cutter. I do recommend highly a paper cutter. If you don't have one, you can still use like an X-Acto knife and a ruler to cut paper, or you could tear it, or you could trace around the size you want with the ruler and then cut it with scissors. But to me, it goes faster with a standard paper cutter. I got this one at Walmart. They're not too expensive. So that is one of the main supplies you need for building it. Of course, you need your thread. You need to have a way to poke holes into the paper to sew it together. And you're thinking, oh no, sewing. Don't worry, it's a really simple stitch. So this is a very sharp tool here, but you can also use just a needle, anything that's sharp on one end to poke the holes through the paper. I have needles here. I like these nice big ones because they have a big hole in them so I can see to thread my needle pretty easily. Another way you can bind is with staples. So I have a stapler here that opens up that you can actually staple down the middle if you don't want to do the sewing. And I have a couple clips here because when you sew the pages together, you want to clip each end so that they don't move on you while you're sewing. And then the glue that I typically use is, I've mentioned it with several other craft stuff. I use Beacon 3-in-1 or Fabric Fusion because it only takes a little bit and the stuff sticks really good. It's not water-based glue that wrinkles paper. This is silicone-based, so it's really thick. I store this bottle upside down though. This one's been opened because I use it a lot here. It's really thick, but I store it upside down so it's quicker and easier to squeeze the stuff out. And let's see what else. You can use masking tape or regular tape, but washi tape is more decorative for taping stuff where it shows. And this is double-sided tape. So if you're putting like 2 pages together back and front, if you want to, maybe you don't like that your scrapbook paper is white on one side, you can use double-sided tape to stick them together if you don't want to glue them because the glue can wrinkle the paper. And I'll talk about when we get maybe to, this is probably going to be in 2 parts, when we get to decorating, that's kind of a different series of things that you might want to have around. Also, a ruler of decent size. I like the metal rulers. And I did go ahead and pull out my ceramic cutter. I've never used one before in junk journaling, but I thought I'd see if it might be useful. And a pen, something to write with to make marks on. So that's what I have for supplies for making one. So it's not actually that hard to find what you need, and you may probably already have a lot of it around in the house. You don't have to go buying a bunch of supplies and a bunch of antiques and all that stuff, especially if you don't know if you're going to like it. And one word of caution I do have, because a lot of us are collectors, because we like to collect diamond painting. If you start this scavenger hunt, be wary of how much storage space you have and don't go too nuts with collecting items, because you are going to have to find places to put it and use it, and it can pile up on you. So you don't want to create a second hobby of collecting and fill your house with even more stuff. So that's probably the hardest thing for me, is to limit what I'm using for junk journal stuff. So I've been doing this for a few years, so I have a decent collection of things already, but you don't have to. You can do this with pretty affordable stuff. So let's talk about the basics here. So this is my cover. I'm going to cut it down to size, but not quite yet. And I'm going to try to put my signature together. And the word signature just means your little grouping of papers that you're going to use to sew into the cover. So I want something that has kind of excitement. There's the first page, so that when you open it, it kind of looks interesting. So I'm going to use this one And then I believe I will use one of my regular papers there. I know it's white on white, but it won't stay that way. This will get decorated. And then I'll grab this one. And then something patterned, maybe this one. No, I'll do another plain piece of paper here. Okay, and then something patterned. And then maybe the doily. And then let's go green. And another white. But actually, let's see. I have too many here of specialty papers without a white one in between, so we'll do that. Okay. And I'm saving this one for the middle. You know what? I'm gonna swap that out. I'm gonna save this one for the middle. And you'll see why. Because this middle is going to turn into an envelope for storage that also hides our sewing. So, kind of get them all nice and even. So now we can flip through and see what we think. So if this were the cover here, we have that for the first page, then that. Well, I'll do the adjustments here in a minute. I'm gonna change the level of the different pages here. I think I'll swap these two. There we go. Okay. So I'm happy with the order that I have everything in. Now I need to cut it to size. So first is figure out how big I want my cover. And based on some of my typing paper there being somewhat small, I'm gonna center this, and I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'll show you how I do it. I don't really like to measure. I like to eyeball. So we'll try about there. So this is my cutter here. And it's going to cut along this line here, so I think right about there is what I want. And save the scraps, because those will be used to make the pockets on the inside, so save that. So I have my cover here. Now I need to cut down my papers to fit inside my cover. So you can do that all at once. This actually has a little, this was where this piece of paper was attached into the book. So I'm gonna cut that little butterfly strip off, and that can be used later on. So let me do that first and save that. Okay, so going to measure upward just a little bit there. Like I said, I eyeball it. I don't measure. And yeah, we'll go maybe 1 centimeter up and then cut it right about there. And this will give kind of a guide. Again, save the scraps. And cut it just a little bit here on the, oops. This one works backwards than my Fiskars one, but this was the one that was easy to find. Okay. So let's see how that first page fits in. Yes, that works. I don't know if I need to cut down the next two, but you know what? I don't think I want two that have these folded up in the same place. So I'm gonna switch the order again, but that's okay. I'm gonna do that. So let's see here. So the green one probably needs to be trimmed a little bit off the top, maybe. Yeah, we'll trim that green one a little bit. And They don't have to be the exact same size, so I'm gonna actually make it a little bit thinner as well. Because why not? Okay. Let's see how that looks. So we have inside plain paper, and we'll make this even more fun here. I'm going to fold this one backwards so that the fold goes out the outside like that. Then we got that, then the inside fold. And then our vellum, I think, is probably, yeah, we'll trim the top just a little bit there. So, trim the top. And we're almost ready to sew this thing together, and then we'll have a book. I think these two don't need to worry about size there at all. This one does. I'll just leave it. I will just leave it. That's half the fun. And, well, half, I keep saying everything is half the fun. That's lots of the fun, is that because it is a mishmash of things, nothing has to be exact. So if you're not very neat with crafting, then this is perfect for you. Okay, now this page will definitely need to be chopped down. You know what? Let's save some time. Let's not chop it down, let's just fold it. We can make a really tall pocket, maybe. Oh. Alexa had to tell me what the forecast was going to be. So we'll just cut this one down. I'm not sure if I'll use that as a pocket very much because this is pretty thin paper, so it could probably tear somewhat easily, but it'll give us more storage space. So put that in there, and then the white paper, and they don't even have to line up. And this middle one is going to be done in a little bit special way because it is going to turn into an envelope, but I will still need to cut it down about there. Let's try about there. And show you what I'm going to do with this one. I'm just going to cut, let's see, definitely has to go that way. I'm going to just cut about 1 inch off on one side, because this is going to fold over a little bit more than 1 inch. That's not quite enough there. There we go. Save the scraps. So this will fold over and be an envelope and also hide the stitching in the middle. So if you're worried about the neatness of your stitching, don't worry. It'll all be okay. So that's going to go in the middle as the envelope. And I need to cut it down just a tiny bit more. Okay, that should do it. So we have our pages all together here, and it's okay that this one sticks out because it will be folded in to make the envelope there. It all fits in nicely. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the clips to hold everything together. So I've got all the pages how I want them. And I'm going to clip one on each side, like so, to hold it while we sew it. Make sure it's all squished down in there. So the way that a basic book binding stitch works, we need 3 holes here, and we're just going to do a simple stitch. I still don't like how that's sitting there. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of hold it up like this. So I'm going to poke with my needle or the awl or whatever you have a hole somewhat near the middle. Again, I don't measure. And then about 1.5 inches up from one side, and then about the same distance, about 1.5 inches from the other side. And as you can see, these are definitely not very exact, but that's okay. So we're almost done with this thing. So we're gonna take a needle here, and I like the ones with the big eye so that I can see to thread it. And I'm going to take my embroidery thread here and use all 6 strands here. Oh, where did I put my scissors? There's some. So take a strand, maybe, we'll say 1.5 to 2 feet. Give yourself a little extra because you can always cut off some. It's harder to add some. So I'm going to thread my needle here, and we're going to sew this together real quick. So you start from the inside and through that middle hole. So you just go down like that and leave a tail. And then you go up through either the bottom or the top, it doesn't matter, from the back, and pull it through. And then you go down through the other end here, if I can get it there. You don't want to pull too tight because you need that strand there to tie it at the end. And then you're going to go back through the middle. But when you go back through the middle, you're going to want to try to get on the other side of that middle, of this middle string here. So I've got one on this side, one on this side. You can adjust it afterwards if you need to, because I just sewed through the embroidery thread there. But that's okay. This is just kind of to give you a general idea of how this works. So yes, my needle separated that 6-strand embroidery floss. So if you have cotton thread or something else that's not 6-stranded, it might be a little bit easier. I just used my embroidery thread because it was quick to grab. Boy, okay, that's messed up enough the way I sewed it through the thread that I'm gonna do it again, and that way you get to see it again. So I'm gonna again cut out. I'm gonna poke myself in the finger. This time we won't sew through the thread. I'm just having a heck of a time with my embroidery thread here. I actually use wax thread for mine. So you sew down through the middle, leave that tail. You can even hold on to the tail with your thumb if that's easier. Then up through one end, all the way across, and down through the other end. And then might hold these out of the way, back up through the middle there. And that's all of the sewing you do. And that way you have this in the middle. You pull it tight, very tight, very, very tight, but not too tight to tear the paper. And then you tie a knot. And you can tie it 2 or 3 times, doesn't really matter. We're gonna hide this inside that envelope here. And then trim it. And now you can release. And here is our journal. So we have the front and all the different pages to decorate. And now we're going to do the final step here and close this envelope. So I'm going to make both ends of my envelope closure the same. So I'm taking the paper here and matching both ends up. So see how what I'm doing is I want diagonals cut here and here, but I want them to be the same on both sides. So by doing it this way, I fold it up and then trim across. That way they're the same on both sides. And then I can fold this down, and now we have an envelope. So you would glue these two sides. But one thing I'm going to do, because I don't like the words there, is I'm going to cover that up. How am I going to do that, you ask? Well, let's get a piece of scrap paper here. I know this doesn't really match, and that's okay. I'm going to trim this down. Take a little piece of it here. I was just using my paper cutter off to the side here rather than moving it. Oh, let's see. So I'm just taking a piece of this and I'm going to glue it here and then trim it. And that'll cover up the writing. So I've got my glue here, my really sticky glue here. And I'm just putting glue on this part. There we go. So let me put the top on my glue, otherwise it's going to leak everywhere. And that glue dries really fast, and see, no wrinkles. It's really good for paper craft projects. And now I can trim this. Let's see if we can get somewhat close. And trim the other side. And that's how to cover up writing that you don't want to show. Hopefully I'm not getting in the way too much and you can see that. There we go. And now we have an inside to our envelope flap that is decorated. So I could do this a little bit neater. I'm trying to do it quick so that this video doesn't go on forever. So I could trim that a little bit neater and get rid of the white that's showing there. But you get the idea. You go ahead and do that. There we go. So now our envelope has a pretty inside. And now I'm going to, you can use double-sided tape if you like. I tend to use glue, but if you have double-sided adhesive, you can do that. And how many of us have glue dots? Lots and lots of glue dots. So yeah, I'll go with my old standby. I find double-sided adhesive to be just a little bit finicky for doing something on camera. So I'm just going to put a line of glue down each side here and fold this over and push down. And now we have covered up our sewing stitches and we are left with a nice envelope in the middle to store extra goodies that we want to save. So that's it. This is a very basic, we're at 44 minutes here. That didn't take too long, and I spent most of my time actually showing examples and going through descriptions and stuff. So really you can make one of these in almost no time once you get started. It's just a matter of choosing your papers, cutting them to the sizes that you want, and doing that simple stitch to sew them inside. And I'm waiting for this glue to dry a little bit here before I use the envelope. It's got a little bit of glue trying to squish out, so you do want to be careful. But you see, I didn't worry about having the papers all at the same level and all that. Let me put this in camera where you can see. So that's a lot of pages there just with that very simple stitch, and you can use lace or washi tape. I'm gonna put something over that. I see a tiny spot there because this is green, and if you want to hide some of that, you can use washi tape. I would glue my washi tape because washi tape isn't very sticky. It's not meant to be, but if you do use washi tape to cover up that back edge, you probably want to glue it down. I spend most of my time gluing my washi tape if I use it for craft projects rather than just letting it go as it is. I'm trying to reach in here and see if I have some that I can show you. But this bag of washi tape that I have here is mostly for diamond painting. It's not my crafting washi tape, so it's a little bit different. It's basically the stuff that I rejected for crafting for other stuff. So I was looking for like wider washi tape to use across that. You could also use lace or ribbon. In my scrap thing, I have some fabric here, and you could glue that down the side. I did not show how to make a tie on this, but I do have some lace here if you want to do kind of like I did for the other one. If you suspect that your book will fill up, you can sew this to the outside, or alternatively, we already sewed this one together, but you can glue it across the cover here on the inside. If you wanted, you'd want to glue it down so it stays on the cover, but you can do that so that you can tie it closed or clasp it somehow on the inside. So I think what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put this on the cover, and then I will do a separate video. Oops, that's the other glue. Let me get the one I know is good. Where did I put it? I already lost my glue. Okay, we'll just use this. That is one of the other dangers, is forgetting where you set your stuff down. I'm not sure, this glue hasn't been sitting upside down. There we go. So this glue, I will show you, is really good for fabric. So I'm gluing around the edges and a little bit across the middle. And for this one, I am going to spread it a little bit because I don't want it gushing out the side and making messiness, although I am going to use a washi tape frame for this cover. So I'm going to put that there. And you'll see how good this glue sticks down. And yeah, close enough. It's not too exact there. But there's our cover, and now I am going to take, oh, let's see. I probably should have picked a particular color at the outset. Let's see what I grabbed in my box here. Gold probably doesn't make sense. Maybe that one, because it's, oh, let's go for geometric. That's very different. So I am going to glue the washi tape. So I'm going to put a line of glue right along the edge there. And stick it down. And you can certainly choose different designs that are more pleasing to you. I'm kind of just using a lot of leftovers to make something quick here. I'm not going for style points or anything like that on this one. I am definitely not the artist. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue across all four sides here. Hopefully everything can be seen here. So I'm just using what I can grab very quickly, and I'm trying to get that somewhat even. Some of the glue's coming out there. And I'll do a little bit of trimming here later. I'm just trying to be quick for this video, but it's probably better to use scissors and cut it nice and even. But we're just going for a general look here of how this works. So this one may not have been the best because of how it matches up in the corner, but hey, the good thing about junk journaling is everything is fixable. I would stick diamonds in the corners and cover that up like some of the big leftover gems from other projects. Oops, and this one. This corner needs a little bit of trimming here as well. And you want to be kind of fast before that glue dries, because once it dries you can make a mess trying to lift things up. But this is why I like washi tape, because it doesn't stick hard enough there on the ends that you can adjust it. So there, we got that. And actually, I believe this gold tape that I have came in a set of washi tapes, but it's a little bit different. It's thinner. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that along the edge, but you can of course use something that actually matches and that you have in your stash. And I will, yeah, I'll go ahead and glue it because I'm worried it's not going to stay stuck down. So I'm going to, oops, run a little bit of glue kind of along the edge here. Spread it. And put that across there, line it up. And then glue the other side. Let me make sure I have enough showing to fold over here. So put a thin line of glue here on the other side. This is why it's good to store your glue upside down. You can use like just a cup from your kitchen or something to hold your glue bottle in so that you're not doing what I'm doing. Ooh, that's sticky. Fold it over. It's not quite even, but that's okay. A little more of the gold is showing on this side. I'm trying not to get fingerprints on it too. And then we'll trim it down there. There we go. And it'll stick here in a minute. And it should stay pretty darn good once that glue really sticks and takes hold. So there's our front cover of our journal, and now it's ready to put all of our diamond painting goodies and writing and all sorts of different things in there. So it may kind of be hard to picture this as being a junk journal diamond painting log quite yet, but stay tuned for part 2 if you're interested, and we'll fix the insides up for this. So that's what I have for you today. Again, don't forget about the Art.Trays giveaway. Go ahead and check that out if you'd like. Check out their sales going on, and I'll get back to diamond painting videos here for the rest of this week probably. But I really just wanted to do something that I kind of wanted to do for fun. I do enjoy other crafts, and so every once in a while I have to take a break from the work that sometimes goes to running a channel, to playing around a little bit and having some fun. That's a good way to break away from potential burnout. So good luck to everybody for this week, and hope you have a good week, and go on your scavenger hunt and see what you can find around the house. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be diamond painting related. You could just make junk journals on all sorts of different themes and goodies. And if you really want to have some fun, check out thrift stores. Goodwill has a lot of old books and things, old magazines, all sorts of things that you can find. Craft supplies like stencils and yarn and all that kind of stuff if you don't have that already. And go see what you can find. And I will be back maybe next week with part 2, where we do stuff to the inside of this. So let me know if you want to see more of this kind of stuff as well, if it would bother you if I put it on this channel in a different playlist. Do I really need a second channel for some of the other crafting stuff, or is this something that you'd like to see? Let me know in the comments, and I'll get back with you later. Thank you for watching.